Hello everyone and welcome to part 18 of the React series. Today's topic is React model. In this tutorial, we will create a model pop-up with a useState hook to alert the user when they don't fill out all of the fields when submitting the form. Like if I don't fill out name and language and just submit the form, the pop-up model is going to appear on the screen here. And hit the subscribe button if you are new so you don't miss out on any part of this tutorial. Let's get started. Model is a simple rectangular box that appears on the screen as a result of some action. It is also known as a dialog box. If it pops up, it immediately grabs your attention. You use it on website for a specific reason such as notify user to a problem, confirm something, or to request a certain user action such as user login or newsletter subscription. In the user form component, I will add some simple validation in submit form handler function here, which will stop the execution if input fields are empty. We have name and language. I will check the length if it is empty and also use the trim, remove any white space if there is. Use if name, trim white space and length. Compare it to with 0. Also, I will use the language and here use the OR operator and specify the language, trim, length and compare it to 0. Now if it is true, it will return. So here we have a simple validation that indicate that both fields are required. Work on the error model. I am going to create the new component file which will contain error message. So in the component folder, create a new file called modal.js. And here declare the arrow function using the const file name model with argument props and curly braces and return within parentheses section. It is parent element. I'm going to wrap my model with a fancy border element here which will prevent the code duplication. You can use div element here with the class name. I explained this topic in detail in the composition section so you can watch it if you have not already. So here I will first import fancy border component at the top of the file, import and use it in the JSX with the class name model container. With this class name, I am going to apply the style. I will implement a simple model UI in our React app. A header which has a S2 tag and the title and error occur. Next, the body div element with the class name error message. It has a P element and messages all fields are required. Now I will declare the footer, the class name model close. Button, type button. Not going to submit anything. Now save. We have a form in the user form component which we built in the form handling section which has two input fields, name and language, and one drop down option level. So here I will import error model in the user form component and will return model element in the JSX for outputting it correctly. I wrap my model and form with the section because every component should have only one parent element and we can nest it as many. Now I will create the model.css file in the component folder and here I will apply all the CSS styling using the CSS class selector that I specify here. So here I apply some basic styling. The position is fixed and transform I use it for the position at the center. A Z index is 10 so it should be at the top of the content. Overflow is hidden and background color is white. And here is the error message which is the message. The spacing is 1 rem, color is red and font size 1.25 rem and it is model close which we apply. The footer is padding display text. Justify content ends with position at the right side of the model and here for button background color is steel blue and text color is white. After saving it, import it at the top of the file and if you have noticed I did not export this file so I will export it now. So now after saving it, we have the error, we have to add dot slash. So now look at your screen. The model is going to look like this. Just like this. Let's add the backdrop for the model in order to prevent user from interacting with other components before taking any action with the model pop-up dialog. We will develop the background layer that is utilized to generate the fade effect behind the model pop-up dialog. Let's add a slightly darker background to the main page to give it a fading appearance. I will do that by using an empty div with a class name backdrop. And also notice we have used the section one parent element and nesting two child element inside it. I also talk about the other mistake that beginners do in my earlier video. You can watch it from the description link. In the model.css file, I will add the style, class selector, backdrop. So I will give the position fixed. Top is going to 0, left is also going to 0, width to be 100% and height is going to 100 viewport. That index going to 2 is going to appear at the top of other component but behind the model. And here it is background. Let's give it RGB black 0.5. Now if I save it and it will look like this. So now we have a model ready but it is static and displayed on the screen. But I want it to only appear when the user submitted an empty form. To this I will define a useState hook inside the user form component to trigger the model in the functional component to dynamically open and close the model. So using the const destructuring pattern, specify the error state variable and set error function to update the current statement with the undefined initial value. This is simple model dialog box we built earlier. But I want to go to a step further and make my model content dynamically. Why? Because we can use to confirm some action or for some other behavior, we can make it reusable and use it throughout our application. So in the user form component, the validation code block, I will call setError as an object to pass the title and message. So here title is an error occurred and after the comma specify message with the value all fields are required. You could also use these property for different errors or behavior. It is totally up to you and use it in the model. Declare the attribute title and message, the form element, title, error.title, message attribute and pass the value, the curly braces, error.message. So here error is state variable. So now apply it in the place of content by passing the props as an argument here to the model component. So I will add curly braces and use the props and attribute title and here the same the curly braces I will add props dot message attribute. Now I want to hide this model conditionally and only have it appear on the screen when error occurs. We already declare state here management for the error model and it will update the UI if an error happens. Check the condition, we will use the AND operator. Make sure to embed the expression within the curly braces. I will wrap it in curly braces, use error, state variable and add the AND operator to check the truthy expression. Now it will re-render the UI if you submit an empty form. The pop-up appears. Otherwise, it will add user to the list. The model is functioning as expected, but the close button is not working. So we will write event logic to dismiss the form when the close button is clicked. So inside the user form component, declare the function error handler and call the setError function and pass the value null. So if this function is triggered, model is going to disappear. Button is inside the model component, so we need to declare the props to the model element, pass the error handler function. I will name the prop as onClose and pass the callback function error handler to this as value. Inside the model.js component, call the onClick event in button and set the props dot on close. This will trigger event and remove the model on the page. That's it. So now I click this button, it disappeared. So if I click again, we have a background style on the div, and when the model appears on the screen, the backdrop style also applies. Now I want the model to close if I click on the background. So what will we do? We will call the onClick event on this div empty element, declare the onClick event and pass the props prop dot on close so that it will also trigger the function and clear the error. It disappears if you click anywhere other than within the model. So in this React model tutorial, we learned how to create error pop-up dialog box and open model on button click in functional component and also close model when click outside. That's all for today's guys. Let's end this video here. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and share. And if you are new, check out the React tutorial playlist.